Hello and welcome to our webinar on decoding Google's core updates, March 2024. So let's dive in. An overview about Google's core update tells you how and when these changes are going to take place, as well as tell you the factors that are going to be taken into consideration by Google in the coming months, and all these factors are going to impact how your website ranking either improves or it could some of your pages might go down in the ranking. So it's important to understand what are the factors. Adapting to these latest changes in the algorithm involves implementing strategies that are move around some core pillars, and most important of them is ensuring there is high quality content on your website, and the user experience, mobile friendliness, and how's the overall website performance. If you keep all of these points in mind, rest assured you can navigate this Google Core update with ease. Now, let's understand how these factors individually impact your ranking and SEO. Insights into the March 2024 core update point towards analyzing the shifts in ranking factors. Like we have discussed early on, there are some core pillars and factors that influence how well your website ranks on search. It's important to understand what's going to change. In the wake of the March 2024 core updates, website owners and SEO experts are keenly observing for these changes. So, as your SEO mentor, here I would like to introduce you to the key factors and help you understand the shifts. Because understanding these shifts is crucial for adapting to strategies and ensure that there's continued visibility and relevance in the ever evolving digital landscape. One of the key factors is to focus on content quality. So, what do we mean by content quality? We are going to be exploring more about this in slides ahead. With search engines placing increasing emphasis on users' experience, and creating high quality content, engaging content. Now, this becomes really important. It's not about the content that you think is good for your business or for SEO. It shouldn't be just to feed the algorithms. That's one of the major points that they have raised in this core update. But it needs to serve the purpose of your ideal audience. This includes not only relevant information, but also ensuring that it is presented in a very user friendly manner that keeps the visitors engaged on your pages for longer. Don't we all want that? Another important consideration is mobile optimization. I cannot stress enough on the importance of mobile optimized websites, web pages, because as we know, most of the users nowadays are accessing your information, absorbing your information via their handheld mobile devices, and this trend is going to increase more and more as we move forward. So it becomes paramount to pay importance and attention to this factor, because mobile accessibility, it needs to be tested every now and then, because that is a ranking factor. And did you know that Google Discover is a feature that's part of your that should be a part of your SEO strategy, and that's mainly focused on mobile devices, and it's available only on mobile devices. Ensuring fast loading times, responsive design, and easy navigation on mobile devices can significantly impact a site's performance post this update. And we knew this from the beginning that SEO, for good SEO, mobile has been trending up and up for quite a long time now. And it's going to become even more important that your website loads fast, not only on the desktop version, but as well as on the mobile version. And I've seen a lot of websites that do fairly well on desktop, but when it comes to mobile accessibility and mobile speed, it requires work. Additionally, building a strong backlink profile remains essential. Like always, having backlinks from authoritative websites linking back to your content is always a plus. High quality backlinks from reputable sources can boost a website's authority and credibility, positively impacting its search engine rankings. So that's quite understandable and self explanatory. Now, if we focus on what Google has shared with the developers, as you can see on your screen, uh, They are going to be unpacking a lot of algorithm changes, and its impact on website traffic would highly depend on how well you're adapting to the new changes. How do these core updates work? There might be a question in your head, like how do they actually apply these core updates, and what does that mean for me, or for my business, or for my client's business? So to understand that, one way to think of how a core update operates is to imagine you made a list of top 100 movies in 2021 and they are no longer relevant in 2024. So it's all about relevance. Whatever content that you're creating as part of your content strategy, whatever you're putting out there on your website needs to be relevant. It needs to be fresh. It needs to be refreshed every now and then. And new content needs to be coming in, and it needs to remain relevant to a user's search query as well. It needs to match a user's intent. We are going to be exploring more about this in the slides ahead. For example, a few years later in 2024, you refresh this list and it's going to change naturally, right? Some new and wonderful movies that never existed before will now be candidates for inclusion, right? And you might also reassess some films and realize that they deserve a higher place on the list than they had before. So there is a chance for your website. If you just take this as an analogy, like if your website wasn't ranking high enough earlier, but you were producing top quality content, now that they're going to be targeting spammy content after this update, then your content might come up. The list keeps changing, and the films previously higher on the list are going to move down. They're not necessarily bad, but they're no longer serving the purpose. Content and quality questions you should be asking yourself: does the content provide original information, reporting, research, or analysis? Does the content provide a substantial, complete, or comprehensive description of the topic? Does the content provide insightful analysis or interesting information that is beyond the obvious? And the list goes on. Don't worry, I'll be sharing this PPT with all the attendees so you can refer back to the content in detail at your own pace. How do you assess your own content for quality checks? As explained, pages that experience a change after a core update might not necessarily have anything wrong to fix. That said, we understand that those who may not be performing as well after a core update change may still feel that they need to do something. So, what should you do? We suggest focusing on ensuring you're offering the best content you can. That's what Google's algorithms seek to reward. Always remember that you should work from a perspective of the people are going to visit your website. Make your content more accessible, usable, and valuable for the people who are coming on your website, rather than thinking from the perspective of what you think is right. Now, their content pillars revolve around how your content strategy should revolve around meaning, relevance, quality, usability, and context. Meaning of user's query to return relevant results. Google first needs to establish what they're looking for. The intent behind users' queries is paramount. To do this, Google has built language models to try to decipher how the relatively few words user enter into the search box and they find what they're looking for. So your objective should be to make the information as easily understandable and relevant and is like matching the intent as possible. Then that becomes a reason for Google to show up your website in response to somebody's query. How relevant your content is. If you have to understand this as an example, just think: when you search for dogs, you likely don't want a page with the word dogs on it hundreds of times. With that, an algorithm assesses if a page contains other relevant content matching what the user is looking for than just writing it like keyword stuffing it, such as pictures of dogs or some services or a list of breeds. So it becomes more useful for the person who's looking or searching for this. Then comes quality of content. To do this, they identify signals that can help determine which content demonstrates expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So, you might have heard about EAT. So that's a technique or a principle that is applied in SEO a lot, which simply translates to that your content should demonstrate your expertise in the topic you're writing about, how authoritative your content is, or you are, and how trustworthy your content is. How do you ascertain that your content is perceived as authoritative and trustworthiness? We'll be exploring this further. Then is the usability of your web page, like we have discussed earlier as well. Mobile accessibility is a big factor. Make sure that your website loads fast on mobile devices. Your content is not cutting through on the sides of the pages. Your images on your website are not very heavy, and other factors that you could explore on a mobile accessibility test. There is a page on Google where you can check your mobile version of your website, and it's going to point out all the factors that you could work on and make your website appear better for mobile devices. Then there is context and setting. Information such as users' location, past search history, and search settings also impact ranking. Now, this goes without saying that the geography of your business, where you're located, where your user is located, and accessing your intended targeted keywords, information related to them, is also going to impact how well your website is going to rank or show up for that particular user. For example, if you're based in Auckland, then somebody who's searching for nearby restaurants in Christchurch might not be shown your listing, because it's not that relevant, it's not that contextual. So you need to, if you're targeting nationwide audience, then your SEO strategy should incorporate that as well. Now we come to content quality. We can go on and on about how we can improve content quality, but to give you an idea, evaluating content quality as a crucial element in the latest updates is vital. Strategies for creating high quality, relevant content is going to involve keeping a framework in mind when you create new content on your website. It could be your blogs, it could be your web pages, it could be your newsletters, it could be other kind of content that you have available as a download, easy download for your website visitors. So that could also be benefiting from a framework or a pillar that you're going to be using. You should aim for planning for at least 3 to 6 months in advance, and have your core topics outlined and create content that is going to be fulfilling all your goals. You should have some sort of short term and long term goals associated with the kind of content you are creating, what kind of purpose it's going to solve, and how it's going to make your users' life easy. What pain points is it hitting, and what solution does it offer for somebody looking for options? For example, if you're a photographer, then you need to have some content showcasing your work. That goes without saying, but also in a way that gives ideas to your target audience how and why they should be coming to you and not to someone else, not to your competitor, if that makes sense. How do we prioritize user experience? Make sure that all your web pages are loading under 2 seconds for the desktop version as well as for the mobile version. Because at 2.5 seconds, it starts getting flagged in a Google Speed test, and then your content no longer gets marked as relevant or the most appropriate result that should be shown at a higher ranking. That doesn't mean that you won't rank, but you might not rank above your competitor in the same niche if their website is loading faster, just to put things in context. So, how could you work on your site speed? You should definitely look at Google Search Console and have that connected onto your website, and it does give you a good idea about which pages by URL. If you have a bigger website, like say thousands of pages, It would give you a breakdown of all the pages and their performance, or it will group them in and give you an indication that this set of pages is slow and you need to work on that. Like I briefly touched on the EAT principle: expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So that's going to take a center stage post these core updates. And it's important that your SEO strategy incorporates all these three important factors. And you should be looking for getting validation when other websites are linking back to your content, internally linking your content, and you linking out to other trustworthy websites with higher domain authority. For example, if you're writing a blog, then having external links to some credible sources to back the information that you have just shared could be a good idea. What should quality link, backlink, and link building strategy look like? It should focus on earned backlinks rather than backlinks. That's absolutely not a good idea. There are some practices which aren't promoted by Google at all, like buying backlinks. It's always a good idea to think about building some relationships within within your industry and within other businesses, so that you could have some earn backlinks, some content linking back to your site. That's what it means in simpler language. And it should be over a period of time, no bulk linking back to your site, because that indicates to Google that these are some black hat techniques like bot backlinks, like buying followers on social media. You might have heard about that, how that's bad. It's similar to that. We've been stressing this all along. Nowadays, it's mobile first. It's the era of mobile first, and indexing and accessibility of your web page, website content on mobile devices is a ranking factor. There is no uh, there is no way around that. So you need to be focusing on mobile SEO separately from your desktop SEO. Local SEO consideration. This is quite relevant for businesses who are operating within a local region, and most of their clients, customers are from that region. So, focusing on your local SEO presence becomes very important. Addressing the significance of this can make the difference between your business showing up for the nearest customer or the client that you could acquire or not. You should be leveraging local citations and optimizing for location based searches to maximize your visibility in search for people within a radius, specific radius of your business where you're located. You may or may not have a physical presence or a physical store, studio, but you might be operating from, you might be catering your services or your products within a specific radius, and you should be working towards having a strong local presence. Content freshness and its relevance is also a major factor. You could have a lot of old content that's relevant, that's good, that's of high value to your user, but you're not adding any fresh content that is meeting the user's intent. Like if it's outdated, then again, it's not going to rank as well. So the emphasis should be on content freshness every now and then, and how relevant the post is, or if there are some updates that you could apply to your old content, then also that could work. You should be following some strategies to maintain up to date relevant content for sustained visibility and engagement of your users. And this also helps in always indexing, getting more of your pages indexed, or a fresh crawl from your Google Search Console bots. And this in turn involves a lot of opportunities for your website to rank higher for the certain keywords that you weren't ranking earlier. So this is useful both ways. Site security and performance. You should pay absolute importance to your site security. Performance we have discussed in depth a lot throughout this presentation, but you should also focus on making your site more secure. For example, you could have some plugins if you're a WordPress user, or have some apps if you are using other website platforms to ensure there is encryption and there is captcha and reduce spam on your website, because all of these things can also pull your SEO rankings down. Adapting to these strategy is going to be important. This goes without saying, but there needs to be a balance between technical optimization, content relevance, and user experience. This is to maintain and improve your search visibility. We cannot be 100% sticking to 100% technical optimizations when it comes to our SEO strategy. It needs to have a balance. Like, for example, just doing some backend SEO work isn't enough. You need to be coming up with fresh and useful content as part of your content strategy on your website. Keep reviewing your web pages, and if there needs to be some new information that needs to be added to your content, according to some, there might be some changes in your policies, there might be some changes in your packages if you're a service provider, there might be some changes to your product listings if you are an e-commerce seller or a retailer. So all of these things are important, along with having technically optimized SEO website. And this also helps you being ranked above somebody who's not. So it's an opportunity as well as something to think about. If your website isn't already optimized, this is also an opportunity for you to leverage from all the good strong foundations in SEO that you already have. If I have to conclude it, the key takeaways from this core update would be emphasizing on user centric strategies. There's nothing to be thinking into like technical terms, just simply working towards making your user's experience better. What is going to help my user get information faster, easier, and there shouldn't be, for example, too many clicks to get to the most important parts of your website. For example, if somebody is looking to buy a certain product from you, they shouldn't be required to be clicking on your homepage, then they're clicking on another page, like where all the products are listed, and they're clicking again to get to the main product, then they're clicking again to buy it. So, in as short as you could, you should be providing the information to your user, meet their demand as fast as you could on your website. For all the important information, should be the navigation links, for example, should be paid attention to. Are you putting out all the important main pages in the navigation pan for your user? Can they access all the relevant information from your website as quickly as it's intended to? You shouldn't let your user get frustrated when they're on your website and leave your website earlier. At least they should be spending 10 to 15 seconds at least, because I've seen a high bounce rate on many websites that are not optimized for SEO, and the average user doesn't spend more than 5 seconds if they are not finding what they're looking for. So the easiest thing to do is provide your ideal audience what they're looking for as fast as you can and easily as you can, and that's a very useful tip. This also helps you maintain your search visibility, your rankings, your performance, as well as enhance it. So that's something that everyone can incorporate easily. Apart from that, staying updated with the latest trends, because Google has also implemented third party cookies update that's going to be impacting not only paid ads as well as the organic SEO rankings as well. It's so far it's been implemented only in European countries and not in the APAC region as such. But I see that as a trend that could be implemented here as well soon. So, having consent to having their information stored on your site is a very good idea. Start implementing it now if you have not been using it, as that would prepare your site in advance. Have all your Google properties updated and connected. Do check your Google Analytics from time to time. That gives a lot of useful information into your customers, your clients' journey on your website, your connected properties, even your social media traffic gets a lot of data insights that can be seen via Google Analytics. And this helps you plan your marketing. This helps you put out more of the content that's receiving good response as compared to the content that's not. And within that, make sure that it's set up properly. The first and most important thing is to ensure that your Google Analytics property is well connected, it's well set up, and all the conversion events are there. And you could, did you know that you could even check attribution of each and every conversion that happens on your website, via your website? If the customer is making a booking after visiting your site from Google search, or are they coming from your Instagram, or are they coming from your TikTok, or are they coming from your Facebook, or if the customer has made this purchase, if you are a retailer or an e-commerce brand, it becomes important to assess where should you be putting your funds, allocating your fund marketing funds more. So then all of this becomes highly relevant. And I think after going through all of these points and incorporating uh, to the best of your ability, you would be able to easily navigate these core updates. And if you still find yourself struggling with some of the points, please feel free to reach out to us. And if you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer them over email. And reach out if you need help with implementation. Thank you for attending this webinar. Bye.